truth.
Okay. I got truth on my mind. Truth on my mind. I got truth on my mind. Truth on my mind. I got truth on my mind. Truth on my mind.
Hey, listen, you are now rocking with Mickey Truth. She live up to her name, not the fame. So make sure y'all subscribe to her channel and stay updated on what's real. Bye.
Good reporting ass Mickey.
We love you, Mickey.
Y'all already know all information contained on this live is for entertainment, heavy on a mother effing entertainment, educational purposes only. All information used on this live is per the Fair Use Act, and any conclusion that you draw is on you and your mama, not nobody on this channel, this panel, or in this chat. And another disclaimer for those who have not read the description to my channel, I am not a lawyer. Nothing I say should be used as legal advice because it's not legal advice, okay? If you do need legal advice, however, you can go talk to an actual licensed lawyer or attorney of your choosing, all right? And like the disclaimer says in the video, that you can actually see the consequences of anything that you try to run with from the channel is definitely on you, all right? So with that being said, hey, just sit back, enjoy my opinion based off my free thoughts of what I'm listening to. And y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat. Let's get started.
You can't handle the truth.
Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to pull up on your girl, Mickey Truth. We is live with it. What's up, Truth Team? Oh, shoot, excuse me. I'm Wipe Down TV. What's up? Hey, y'all, today has been one of them days where I'm like, my strength, I'm kind of feeling like, I ain't really got a lot of strength, so I had to do some content, but I just don't feel like doing no videos. So y'all know how I get when I don't feel like doing videos and stuff. I decided to get on live. So here I am. My voice is doing good right now. You know, we're gonna keep our fingers crossed that it stays that way. And we're gonna get into like the bulk of this live is really gonna be BRICC Baby, because earlier when I was breaking down the paperwork in the video, my voice got to crack-a-lacking and shit. And I had to stop. So that seems like what most people that's been hitting me up today has been talking about. Even No Jumper reached out to me as far as my perspective on it. I don't know if somehow our lanes got crossed up, because they were supposed to call me, but I ain't getting no call, so I don't know about that. I don't know. Are they still live? Yeah, I don't even know what they're talking about right now. But yeah, so if they decide to call, hell, I'll answer the phone while I'm on live. But yeah, so pretty much that's what we on. This is y'all time. If y'all have questions about it, put it in the comments. We're not gonna be live long. Y'all know I'm live on Twitch also, so make sure if you're on Twitch to follow me on Twitch. This is the only time I can really get on Twitch is when I'm on live here. I don't believe a decision has been made on BRICC Baby bond yet either. So we're going to be checking in with No Jumper, though, to see, because I think they have somebody there that's going to update them. So what was I about to do? Hold on, y'all. I got sidetracked. Shoot. What was I about to do? Oh, yeah. Make sure my Twitch is up. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. Y'all. So I'm in the dark. That's why I don't even have my lights on, because it's just one of these days, you know what I'm saying? What's up? I have the long... That's crazy. You almost got me with your name, bro. Like, you almost got me with your name. But I hope you're having a good day. Appreciate it, Wipe Down TV. So, let me make sure my Twitch is up, and then we can move on with what we got going on. All right, boom. That's good to go. Okay, Twitch is up. So, I don't want to talk too much, not too much on this live, because I am still getting better, and I don't want it to get to like going out. So I kind of feel like maybe I should start off with, let me see what they're talking about first. Hold on, because maybe I should start off and just see. Oh, I don't want to do that. Hold up. Sincere, what's up? What's up? Yeah, see, I don't want to do too much talk because I realize when I do too much talking, that's when the problem will come in at with my voice, especially all together. So let me see what they're talking about at this moment.
He's just himself. Yeah, even more than everybody. Let him do his thing.
So no,
Playboy Cardi, everyone.
I'm super psyched of this recent arc that.
Okay, they talking about something else. All right, so yeah. Let me pull up Sadie Nash real quick because Sadie Nash actually read the document out, and I think you know what I'm saying we're gonna start there. And I'm just gonna break it down because one thing about it is like, and this is not just with the BRICC Baby situation, just with paperwork in general. A lot of people talk about the paperwork, or you know, because it is able to be obtained by anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of people don't really understand what they be having going on or what they be reading. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. I didn't know who this person was until the mess happened. Yes, I've been under a rock. It be like that. Hey, a lot of times people don't understand. I don't be knowing half the people I be talking about until I start talking about them. So I feel what you're talking about. Blue, what it do? What it do? So the purpose of this is because a lot of people always tap in and ask me questions. Y'all know I wish I can respond to everybody. Sometimes I can see a message and just can't respond to it because my message requests be going crazy, especially when paperwork happens. Y'all know when I started the Queen of Paperwork thing, it was definitely part of my gimmick for my brand. But y'all know when it comes to it, everybody still reaches out. Even though what it do, Craig said they all talk too much. Facts. I will agree with that. Even though I personally don't pull paperwork anymore, but okay, I definitely should. What it do? I definitely will tap into the paperwork sector to break it down or whatever, especially when there's a lot of misconception. And that's what we got going on. But what's the crazy part about the BRICC Baby situation is because we have covered BRICC Baby. We haven't done his Cali cases, but we covered him prior to him getting indicted by the feds, his Georgia cases. So he's not new content, you know what I'm saying, to us. So, you know, we're here. Brit Mama told him on wire hush. But see, is that really what she said though? And I did a video earlier, but we're gonna get into that part. And matter of fact, let's talk about that part in particular real quick. Cause I was actually, like I said, I was supposed to tap in with no jumper and talk about it. But like I said, they haven't been called. But if they call while we're on live, we'll talk about it on live. Let me see. Sincere said, from what I see, he bonded out too many times. They on his top now. He might have to sit this one out and fight it from the B side, but free him and the rest. The one and only, what it do? Why in the dark? Cause like I'm feeling, I don't know if my body is going through like the different stages of recovery, but today I feel kind of like slummed, like on some real stuff. I kind of feel ill today. I'm having like, I'm cold and hot, so I'm kind of like going through the motion. So I'm kind of just like, but I had to get some content out. So it was like, either don't drop no videos because I don't even feel like recording, or just get on live and just, you know, figure it out. So that's why I'm here. So that's why I'm in the dark. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm going through a lot right now. My body's going through. Okay, but the good thing is I can talk, because it would have been even worse if I couldn't talk right now. Okay. All right, so let's talk about this, because this is the viral part of the document. Now we're going to go through the whole thing. But I'm kind of letting y'all kind of control the flow of where we're at. And then, you know, we'll get into listening to Sadie Nash read the paperwork. Okay. So I just want everybody to think about this, right? These are phone calls that's being intercepted, right? So when you're reading it, you have to remember it's a phone call, right? It's a summary of a call. So, like, who was it? I'm sorry. Somebody just said like Craig said, you know, his mom told him to hush on the wire. I don't think she was telling him to hush. she was telling him not to do nothing stupid so that he wouldn't get recorded, meaning video. You get what I'm saying? So if you read it, it says that on this day, the defendant was on the phone with his mother and found the mother of his child outside of his house. So think about it. You chilling in your house. What's up, Mom? What's going on? What? Yo, Mom, do you know this chick outside my house? Okay, so that set the tone. You're on the phone like that, okay? So it then continues to say he told his mother that the mother of his child was in gangland and wanted to expire early, meaning, Mom, this chick must want to die, okay? You know what I'm saying? So you're having this conversation with her. So then it says the defendant asked the mother of his child if she wanted to die in front of her son on 6/0. So again, telephone conversation. Screaming either out the door, out the window. Bitch, you want to die? Da, 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 da. Like, this is how the conversation is going. So if all this is happening, when his mother screamed at him through the phone to stop because he may be being recorded, what do you, like, she's not referring to a phone call. She's referring to a video. She's referring to somebody in the apartment complex taking out their phone, recording. Somebody with the baby mom. Hell, the baby mom could have recorded it. You see how, like, once you really think about it and be like, damn, you're right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't get that as being saying, oh, about a wiretap. They're talking about actually somebody recording whatever he may have done if he would have went out there. Sincere said, and all of his phones were tapped. They have personal conversations with family and close ones. He been compromised for a very long time, a few years it seems to be. You can't say a person is compromised just because their phone's tapped. As we know now, a lot of rolling 60s as far as this indictment or this investigation, phones were tapped. So just because you're like, technically you are tainted because your shit is wired, but that doesn't mean you know what I'm saying? So like at the end of the day, like that's kind of a reach with that, you know? His mother was in the door game in her day. That was okay. Got my senses. Okay. Yeah, I ain't trying to get the background on his mama. And see, we don't stay focused and this is another reason why don't get it twisted. I appreciate the paperwork sector because it pushed me into a new realm of like blogging and stuff. But at the same time, this paper, like the thought process and how much we can really comprehend ain't really ready for paperwork. So it kind of like, that's why it's so watered down now. And that's one reason why I really don't fool around with it like that, because like people really don't comprehend it like that. But but yeah, so on that's video recording. She basically telling him like, yo, don't take your ass out, ain't somebody gonna get you on record, knowing people be quick to record and put it out. Now the next part, right? It says on March, the same day now. Now, mind you, this is the thing. They don't say it's a separate call. So we can assume it's the same call. Okay. So he's on the phone with his mama. His mama is already, now remember, right here, it says his mama screamed at him to stop. Okay. So the next one, it says the defendant told KC, which is his significant other, his wife, right? So he's on the phone with his mama trying to get him calm down. So he's obviously having a conversation with his girl in the background also at the same time. And told her like the police were acting stupid, that he was tired of doing what they told him to, and that he was ready to shoot the mother of his child. Tad, what it do? So think about that. So you're on the phone, hearing somebody screaming at you, telling you to chill, don't do nothing. You're trying to talk to your other person who's probably telling, don't go out the door, whatever. You stressed out. So who else is that? This is why I'm like, people jump to say it was the police. That don't make sense, right? At some point, and this is my opinion because we don't have the audio, at some point, somebody had to ask, did the police come out? Like, somebody had to ask that question during the call. And this is why he said the police were acting stupid. Like, hey, they don't want to come get this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't want me to go out the door. I'm tired of listening to this shit. I'm going out there and off this hole. Like, that's what I took from it. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like once you actually think about that it's a call summary that you're reading, it comes into perspective. That's why when everybody was hitting me up talking about, oh, you know, he's snitching, he this and this and that, like at the end of the day, like that, it wouldn't even be brought out like this. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how he doesn't do at least 20 years. He is already a triple felon. Well, and so I can't really talk about the Cali shit because I've never, y'all know I really don't do Cali cases. And to be honest, I wouldn't even be doing a BRICC Baby case if I hadn't already been running his shit from Georgia. So it just makes sense to do it, to be real. I don't like West Coast shit. They heavily in their politics and shit. I don't like, and it's hard to get their work, right? But as far as like, you realize he's not even freaking, they're not even bringing up really the Georgia shit because it's like levels to, it's not just that he's a triple felon. And I know multiple people that got multiple felonies that ain't never got no 20 years thrown at them. So it's like different things to take. It's not just black and white. So I'm starting to talk too much. Black and white, you know what I'm saying? Christopher Leon said BRICC Baby is an FBI informant. If he was an FBI informant, we wouldn't be saying none of this shit. Like on some real. Like, and y'all know, and I fucks with BRICC Baby, but y'all know I'm gonna keep it 100 though. If he was an FBI informant, we wouldn't be saying none of this shit. Like, be real with yourself. I know we be on here just saying shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, be real with yourself. If he was an informant, we wouldn't freaking see none of this. He's facing 5 to 10 max. It's in his PW. His PW. What is PW? We don't know what he's facing max because the case is still ongoing. Skull, what it do? So the case is ongoing, y'all. Like, it's too soon. See, people like, this is the thing, y'all jumping too far ahead. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we don't know what BRICC Baby is facing because we still don't even know if he's going to get hemmed up on some other shit. Like, we just know what they have, you know what I'm saying, going on right now in California with all them guns. But see, that's the thing. It's still, even with that, it's different. Again, this is why a lot of times you got to let lawyers lawyer, because like, even though the charges is that he had all these weapons when they came and ran down on his house and all that, that don't mean all those weapons is going to remain as part of the case as the case goes on. It's just too soon. You know what I'm saying? It's just too soon. JB, what it do? Said he read his paperwork last night. We're aware of that. We're aware. Oh, paperwork. Okay, got you. The readout this morning, his guidelines, making sure feds go by points. What is y'all talking about in this? Okay, the paperwork that Seti Nash read out is what I'm showing y'all right now. It was a response to why he shouldn't get no bond. That's what Seti Nash read out. Y'all cannot go off of what he's facing just off of this. That's not how that shit go. So again, the feds, yes, the feds do go by points, but it's other things that go along with it also. I have said it so many times, and this is one reason why I stopped doing paperwork for real, for content, because y'all asses don't be listening anyway. Is a lot of things. For those who came through with the BMF, that was the best case I can remember. The BMF sector, we wrote down everybody paperwork and how it goes. Yes, it's points, it's guidelines, and it's based off each indictment also. Y'all just have to go do y'all review of that because I'm not about to take the time to even go back through that. Okay. But yeah, so you can't base off what he's facing just off of this document. But shout out to Seti Nash because we about to listen to him read it. But this is, again, he's reading it so y'all can listen, because a lot of y'all like to do the read out loud. I'm one of them. I like to listen to people read it instead of, you know, me reading it myself sometimes, because I have to be in the mood to read. But y'all don't be comprehending sometimes what y'all be listening to. But this is just this. This is not his, like, they haven't got that far. That's my thing, y'all. Like, y'all jumping the gun with this. Like every case now, it's just not BRICC Baby, okay? So we're not just going to say it's just because it's BRICC Baby. Y'all jump the gun too quick. I don't know if it's because y'all own experiences or what. Everybody that ever caught a case or been around somebody who caught a case or worked in the criminal justice system knows Nothing is the same. I don't care what you talking about. You can't never say, oh, well, based off of what I know on this is how this is going to work. You never will know. Ever, 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 ever. And I cover it for content and I cover it in real life too. So it's like, you never know. That's why I never jump the gun. I always say, hey, we're going to go piece by piece with this thing because there's nothing more, you know what I'm saying? Because it could be one thing like, oh, like I just told y'all, something was similar on the BMF case, but it'd be something different. On experience, you sound like my dad, Sincere. Like, just everybody experience is going to be unique, even if it's similar. So even if you're going through your indictment, hopefully everything work out for you. It doesn't mean it's going to be equal to what BRICC Baby is going through. BRICC Baby shit ain't going to be equal to what Boosie is going through. Like, it doesn't go that way. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. Again, it's going to come down to lawyering, right? Will the defense attorney get some shit thrown out? That's going to change up the game. If evidence end up being not being able to use, that's going to change the game up. It's too early in the case to understand. Now, once we get to the little further down the line, maybe trial or like plea negotiations, if it ever comes to that, it may be different because now we kind of know where everything is. It's too early. We still at the bond. We still at bond. You get what I'm saying? You get me? Like, we still at bond. And this is why I say sometimes when it comes to content, this is why I backed away from doing this type of content, because this is supposed to be one of those things where it gives us a lot of content because we're following the trail of the case. We're following the case as it unfolds. But these freaking hood nickel bloggers and these freaking bloggers that don't really understand paperwork, they just rush and just and flood the freaking content, and then everybody think they know, and then I'll be like, what is y'all talking about? You know, I'm like, where did you get that from? Where did that come from? And then I just got over it. And I'm gonna be honest, I be more relaxed since I gave it up. On some real stuff. Like, it's more relaxing now since I don't do the paperwork stuff, because at the end of the day, it's like, unless I'm following the actual case, I don't fuck around with the paperwork like that, because it'd be like a comprehensive thing. Newski, what it do? Long time no see. I'm feeling good as far as my voice, but I'm going through something right now. I'm having hot flashes, but then I'm cold. Like if I take my sweater off, I got me some soup and stuff on the way. It should be getting delivered soon. So, but I appreciate everybody that been showing love and support. But like I said, y'all, this is really, y'all know I normally don't do lives no more, but I just ain't been in the mood to do anything today. So I decided just to do this live, because a lot of people since 1 a.m. Eastern time has been hitting me up in regards to what I felt, you know what I'm saying, about this situation. Appreciate it. And I was okay. I'll go ahead and, do a live and talk about it. But again, I just want to say this before we get into the reading of it, is like, it's all about how, when you read the document, you have to put it in context, right? Like, you have to put in context, like I just showed y'all. When the mom says, stop you being recorded, you got to remember what's going on at the time. She's not telling him to stop talking because the line is tapped. She's telling him don't do nothing stupid because somebody's gonna get you on video, right? When he says he's tired of doing what they're telling him to do, you gotta remember, in the moment, he wants to unalive his baby mama. He got his mama on the phone, his girl on the side of him, they telling him not to do it. So who else would the day be? You get what I'm saying? It's like we be so quick to jump to like just, the paperwork said the police. He the police, but you got to read it in context. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, let's get into it, because there's other things, like, y'all know, soon as somebody mentions some snitching shit, they definitely hit up the queen of paperwork to be like, hey, so is that what it says? So that's kind of like my last video I focus on. But now, because again, this is a case that we are following, we're going to tap in with Seti Nash as with his good reading ass, okay? He's going to read the paperwork. I'll stop it throughout to give my voice, though. I got to give my voice time to chill because it's starting to hurt. We'll stop it. We'll chop it up. Y'all get in the comments if it's a part. You know what I'm saying, that y'all want me to give y'all my, breakdown on. Let me know in the comments. I'll be right here. But yeah, I definitely got to give my voice a break for a second. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Where is it? Okay, let's go ahead and get started.
It is charged with repeatedly possessing a firearm and ammunition despite numerous felony convictions. The morning of defendant's instant arrest, he had an unsecured firearm and ammunition in reach of his young child. Defendant's criminal history is full of violence and supervision violations. 2006, narcotics and obstruction of law enforcement. 2010, reckless evading involving assault with a deadly weapon. 2012 to 2014, narcotics convictions. 2016, criminal threats conviction. 2020, robbery conviction, misdemeanors, arrest, and other conduct. Defendant's fraud crimes. Defendant was detained based on.
Now. So hold on. City, you reading? Oh, that's gonna throw me off. Cause I like to read along. Cause I'm like, what the fuck is he reading from? Damn. All right, I'm gonna try. That's gonna throw me off. I thought he was reading ass paper. Shoot. Okay. We're gonna rock out, man. Cause like at this point, my voice is, my throat is hurting, so I can't do nothing but listen to it. So all right.
On risk of flight and danger. Argument, legal standards for pretrial detention. So they're basically saying we're going to make sure that he don't get bail. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. It don't look like he's gonna be getting bail on this one. So I'm not saying that he's not, but I'm just saying from how they writing this right now, it don't look good. Defendant should remain detained. See, right there. Nature and circumstances of the offenses, weight of the evidence, history.
Well, I will say this. I mean, they always wanted him detained, right? They always said he was a flight risk from the beginning. They always said he was a danger to the community. So all this is just them elaborating with more detail on why they said it. But they originally filed that back in February before they even picked his ass up, while it was still a sealed indictment. So this ain't nothing new. The only new stuff to us is that they are releasing details from wiretaps, okay? And it was another thing. Should I wait? Because I may not remember once we get there. I'm gonna wait. I'll remember. I'll make sure I remember.
Characteristics of defendant, nature. And that's why I always tell y'all, bro. I always say that. Man, there's some characteristics, bro. Yeah, man. Nature and seriousness of the danger posed by defendant's release. Defendant's proposed property bond is insufficient. Conclusion. Alrighty, so table of authorities. We're not going to do all that. We're just going to get straight into it. Defendant Zaire Mitchell, defendant, asked this court to be released pending trial, arguing that a secure property bond is sufficient to reasonably assure his appearance and the safety of any other person or the community. To the contrary, defendant's criminal history shows a dedication to crime and recidivism, no matter what the consequences. Moreover, his conduct during the investigation in this case shows the same dedication to a life of crime and an ability to comply with the rule of law. The indictment first alleges that defendant in shooting at individuals possessed ammunition expelled from a firearm on January 12, 2022. So they said he shot at somebody in 2022. Then on June 21st, 2023, defendant was captured on an intercepted call arguing with a significant other, and when she repeatedly recounted that defendant had pointed a gun at her while she was holding his infant child. Execution of a search warrant at defendant's home followed, and 3 firearms, including an AK-47 style gun and over 125 rounds of ammunition, were found.
All right, let's pause real quick. Dang, I hate when new stuff freaking happens and then All right, let's talk about that part just now. Tony Snow, what to do? All right, so y'all got to bear with me. I'm so sorry, y'all, but I don't know. They need to figure out something. All right, so we know based off previous documents that the wiretap started because of the investigation that they were doing back in 2022. Okay, so when this situation that they're speaking of, Jalen, what's up? Yeah, I'm feeling a little better as far as the voice, but my body is going through something right now. Okay, I'm having hot flashes, cold flashes, everything. So 2022, they start listening to his phone calls. Okay, ultimately, the phone call interception is why they ended up at his house in June of 2023. Hence, where us, the truth team, comes in. Because remember, we first reported on BRICC Baby getting arrested back in 2023, June 23rd, 2023, I believe so. Big D, what to do? Thank you. So we have been here along for the ride. And remember, I even called, and got them on recording and saying what he was charged with when everybody was up in the air about what he was arrested for. So the reason why he caught that case is because of what they heard on the wiretaps. Now, this is how I feel at this point. Now, this is just me. As we go through this document, right, they don't really say much about wiretaps as far as what's being said on these wiretaps after June 2023. All the calls are before June 2023 as far as what they use in this document. Me personally, okay, I feel like, he said, sounds like fever feels. I might need to check my temperature though, like for real, because I've been going through it like for the past couple hours. Sorry, y'all, I'm satisfied, but I feel like when he was arrested, they had to tell him something at that point, because I know I would have been like, now how the fuck y'all get a warrant to come search my house? They had to tell him because they felt like the woman was in danger. That's why they got the search warrant to come to the house. And that's why all the pertinent information that they're using against him now is prior to that date. You know what I'm saying? And BRICC Baby himself have said that the feds and the state came to speak with him at that point. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like at that point, it's like, oh, I'm just going to be a podcaster. Because just think about it. And y'all can do your own research on it. Think about it. He started really doing the podcast thing. Hence why later on in the paperwork, we start talking about no jumper and stuff. But just keep that in mind too. Like, I feel like to him, he thought he was going to be able to switch that shit from, oh, okay, I'm just going to do it for entertainment. But the whole time, they're like, yeah, we bet it is entertainment, buddy. You know? So just keep that in mind. I just want to bring that to the light. Like, at that point, all the calls was prior to that second case. Okay? Let's continue.
After law enforcement seized those weapons and arrested defendant, he continued undeterred. In March 2024, defendant erupted at his place of employment.
All right, y'all. Let me pause real quick. My order just got here, so hold on, because I don't want to miss hearing anything.
Threatening individuals in the room and online with death, fighting security, and later admitting to possessing a firearm during that incident. Throughout 2024, defendant made claims online of murdering people and threatening to do the same to others. Then, on March 18, 2025, the day before his arrest in this case, defendant went on a live video podcast with someone whom he had previously threatened to kill. During the podcast, sitting across from that person, defendant brandished a firearm in his waistband. Defendant was arrested the following day. An unsecured firearm with multiple magazines of live ammunition matching that seen in defendant's waistband on the podcast were found where defendant was staying with his young child. All of the above conduct occurred after years of violent crimes, firearm possession, evading charges, and troubling conduct disseminated throughout the internet. Defendant's lengthy periods of incarceration and supervision have not deterred him from continuing to commit dangerous crimes. There is no.
All right, let's pause right there. I'm talking about, let me pause it. Whole time it was playing while I walked to the door. All right. So this is the thing, right? Why this is going to be troubling. When I did my previous video, I said, you know what? BRICC Baby hasn't technically gotten in trouble, right? Like actually called a charge since June 2023, right? However, you see how the dirty game that the feds playing, they were like, yeah, he ain't technically got charged, but he still was living this life of crime. He said it on the podcast at work. You know, he's been doing all this, doing all that. We got wiretaps of the baby mama saying this, saying that. So now they're trying to use the stuff that he didn't get caught for against them. Now, can that hold up? Any defense attorney worth anything, I would think, would be able to like kind of have a good argument on that. Especially, you know what I'm saying, when some of the people that they're saying need protecting is still people that's around him, right? So that's how I feel about that. Let's continue.
No reason to believe this arrest will be any different, and the safety of the public demands that defendant remain detained. Bruh, you gotta be kidding me. Statement of facts. Defendant is intercepted discussing criminal activity, including pointing a firearm at his partner and child. In the first several months of 2023.
All right, y'all see how that's very important. What I just had told y'all. First several months of 2023. Like I said, all of these intercepted calls that they're using against him is prior to him getting arrested. Okay, that last time for the gun. Prior to, I feel like it clicked for him, but it didn't click for him because he went from talking too damn much on the phone, right, to doing too much online. And if we probably go back and like really look at his journey, that we can see he started turning up a notch on the podcast shit after this date. Now that's just how my perspective on that, but y'all let me know.
Defendant was intercepted on multiple court-authorized Title III wiretaps, both on his phone and his associate's phone. On multiple calls, defendant discussed criminal activity. Throughout March 2023, defendant discussed how the mother of one of his children accused him of pointing a gun at her, and defendant claimed it was a lie. But on June 20th, 2023, a second person accused defendant of the same conduct. That day, defendant's significant other, KC, stated, "You pulled a gun out on me with your daughter. You pulled a gun out on me in front of your fucking daughter. You pointed a gun at me with your bitch ass." Defendant responded, "I don't give a fuck, nigga. I don't give a fuck, bitch, ever since I've been with you." The following day, defendant argued with Casey again about her picking up her daughter, ordering her to take the fucking baby outside. "You stupid bitch. You sit in the house all day. You dumb asshole." Casey told defendant she could not walk or drive because defendant fucked up her leg and that he was the one who hit on people. Defendant responded, "Man, I was 6 hours. Shut the fuck up, bitch. I just told you, nigga. You keep playing with a nigga. You just want to see a nigga." Defendant told Casey, y'all know how to do my BRICC Baby voice. I can't do it like point and shoot, though. To leave and said that they were done. On the same day, Casey again stated, "It was so fucked up that you can't even apologize for the shit that you do. You never apologize for treating me bad, pulling a gun out on me like this shit is cool for you. But you want me to go do shit for you? You talking about you don't want me? Shit you got going on, but you gonna pull a gun out on me and my child though, right?" Defendant responded, "I was 6 out, yeah. You don't get, I don't give a fuck, bitch. I don't give a fuck. I don't. I was 6 out crip, nigga." Firearms and ammunition are recovered from defendant's home. Following the above-mentioned calls, law enforcement obtained search warrants for defendant's home, car, and person. Inside his home, law enforcement found 3 firearms and ammunition listed in count 2 of the indictment: a .380 caliber pistol, a 9mm caliber pistol, and a 5.56 by 45 caliber assault rifle style firearm, and over 125 rounds of ammunition. Defendant tried to drop some of the firearms and ammunition from his balcony into the courtyard of his apartment complex, just as he previously stated that he would on another intercepted call. God damn, BRICC. Defendant is recorded on intercepted calls making other admissions. Throughout the remaining period of wiretaps, defendant made countless assertions or threats pertaining to violent conduct and weapon possession. For example, on February 20th, 2023, defendant stated that he did not respect the elders in the gang and would pop anyone out 6 out. On March 6, 2023, defendant was on the phone with his mother, the proposed surety here, and found the mother of his child outside his house. He told his mother that the mother of his child was in gangland and wanted to expire early. Defendant asked the mother of his child if she wanted to die in front of her son. I was 6 out as defendant's mother screamed at him to stop because he may be being recorded. Mama knows best, man. On March 6, 2023, defendant told KC that the police were acting stupid, that he was tired of doing what they told him to do, and that he was ready to shoot the mother of his child. Later that day, defendant told another unindicted male that he can kill the mother of his child out 6 out. On March 28, 2023, defendant said that he would body slam the mother of his child on her neck to stop playing with him. In the same call, defendant discussed how it felt to kill someone and had to go to school and play basketball the next day. Come on, bruh. Defendant continues to threaten violence and carry firearms. In addition to the intercepted calls online, defendant continued to threaten violence, carry firearms, and discuss both. For example, in March 2024, defendant crashed out at his place of employment, threatening to shoot people and eventually fight a security guard. Defendant later admitted in separate interviews that he had a firearm on him during the altercation and that he brought his daughter with him to the studio. And y'all remember that damn thing right there. In June 2024, defendant argued over the phone, with an individual and claimed he had killed more people than the other had fought. Defendant stated that he swore to be true on his 4 babies, which he repeated many times. In later attempting to downplay this claim, defendant stated that even if he had one murder, that would be more than the other person had fights. On March 18, 2025, the same individual who defendant previously threatened and claimed to have more skulls than he had squabbles joined the same podcast. During the filming, defendant showed that he had a handgun in his waistband. Bruh, come on. Look at this shit. You can't make this up. And I knew these niggas was watching. Bro, I just said this in my other video. Nigga, you can't be serious. Defendant is charged with repeatedly possessing a firearm and ammunition despite numerous felony convictions. Defendant is now charged with multiple counts of possessing firearms and ammunition, all in violation of 18 U.S.C. 922G. The first charge stems from defendant shooting 3 bullets in a business parking lot in July 2022 to ward off would-be robbers. The second charge involves all the firearms and ammunition found at his home in June 2023. Both of these charges follow 5 felony convictions from 2010, 2012, 2014, 2016, and 2020, respectively. While the pretrial services report includes a longer criminal history with out-of-state convictions, the morning of defendant's instant arrest, he had an unsecured firearm and ammunition in reach of his young child. On March 19, 2025, law enforcement arrested defendant on the felon in possession charges and the indictment at his residence in Gardena, California, with his significant other and young child. Agents found a Glock 26 firearm and a 17-round Glock magazine with 16 rounds of 9mm ammunition, as well as another magazine and 16 rounds of 9mm ammunition. Defendant kept all of that unsecured despite residing with his significant other and child he had already threatened with a firearm before. Despite being arrested with all the firearms and ammunition at his residence in June 2023, despite his many felony convictions prohibiting him from possessing firearms or ammunition, and despite California Penal Code 32310 prohibiting possession of large capacity magazines, i.e. those holding more than 10 rounds, defendant's criminal history is full of violence and supervision violations. As shown in the pretrial services report and the indictment itself, defendant's multiple firearm and ammunition possession charges in this case are far from defendant's first crimes. 2006 narcotics and obstruction of law enforcement. Almost 20 years ago, defendant earned his first felony from a narcotics distribution conviction, while he was also charged with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers by use of threats or violence. He was sentenced to 10 years probation and given a second chance with community service and schooling conditions. 2010. So understand that. So that's 4 years afterwards, right? 2010, reckless evading involving assault with a deadly weapon. In 2010, defendant's criminal charges escalated with a charge for assault with a deadly weapon with great bodily injury likely and a conviction for evading a peace officer with disregard for safety. Defendant was sentenced to 365 days in jail in 3 years, probation, a violation of which resulted in 2 years confinement. So he did 2 years. All right. According to certified conviction records and police reports for original crime, police saw a sex worker enter defendant's car. And defendant then sped off seeing police. Defendant led police on a high-speed chase through stop signs and red lights. At some point, defendant pushed the female out of the moving vehicle. BRICC is a wild goddamn BRICC. You pushed the hoe out. At some point, defendant pushed the female out of the moving vehicle. The victim landed on her face, and defendant ran over her thigh with his car. The victim later stated that she asked to be let out multiple times, but defendant refused until he later threw her out. BRICC is a monster. God damn. The victim also stated that the defendant said he had something he needed to get rid of during the chase and threw a handgun out the window. Yeah, of course you're going to snitch on you. Nigga, you pushed the hoe out the moving vehicle and ran her thigh over. 2012 to 2014. Sorry. Narcotics convictions. Upon his release in 2012, defendant was arrested for transportation of controlled substances and ultimately sentenced to 365 days in jail and 3 years probation. That probation was later revoked after defendant admitted to violating it. 5 months after that arrest, but before that sentence, he was arrested for the same crime in Nevada and ultimately sentenced to 4 years probation. In 2013, he was arrested for and by 2014 convicted of possession of a controlled substance. Defendant later received misdemeanor relief for that conviction, but he thereafter violated his probation. 2016 criminal threats conviction. On August 2nd, 2016, defendant was convicted of criminal threats and sentenced to 2 years in state prison, although he was given yet another opportunity with a suspension, of the execution of the sentence and 3 years formal probation. He violated that probation multiple times, even receiving a no bail bench warrant for his failure to appear for a violation hearing. 2020 robbery conviction. On October 7, 2020, defendant was convicted of robbery and sentenced to 6 years imprisonment. This arrest also featured a high-speed chase and barricade incident that defendant glamorized in his music. Come on, bro. BRICC Baby, Life Behind the Gates official video, one take down. So this is them showing you that music video. Misdemeanors, arrest, and other conduct. As a juvenile, defendant was charged with carrying a concealed weapon, robbery, and minor in a possession of a weapon. He has further arrests for narcotic sales, many failures to appear in multiple states, obstruction, multiple felon in possession charges, false statements, flight, assault with a deadly weapon, multiple fugitive from justice warrants, inflicting corporal injury on spouse, criminal threats, and multiple robberies. Defendant also has misdemeanor convictions and an infraction involving arrest for taking a vehicle without consent, driving on a suspended license, and domestic violence. Defendant's crimes do not pertain only to violence and weapon possession. Defendant is currently under investigation for fraudulently applying for FEMA benefits by claiming to be a renter of a property in Pasadena, California, destroyed in the Eaton fire in January 2020. Moreover, in his digital devices seized during his previous arrest, defendant was in possession of multiple social security numbers, addresses, and other personal identifying information that he had bought on WhatsApp. Defendant even had a photograph of a driver's license with his photograph, but a different name, address, and state. Defendant was detained based on risk of flight and danger. On March 19, 2025, this court ordered defendant detained pending trial based on risks of non-appearance and danger to the community. This court found detention to be appropriate based on defendant's history and characteristics, including his criminal record of fugitive arrest and violating parole and probation conditions, as well as insufficient bail resources and defendant's safety risk due to the nature and seriousness of the instant charges and his criminal history, which includes numerous convictions, some of which were violent. Argument. Legal standards for pretrial detention. A defendant must be detained pending trial where no condition or a combination of conditions will reasonably assure the appearance of the person as required and the safety of any other person in the community. 18 U.S.C. 3142E1. Detention is thus appropriate for a defendant who is either a danger to the community or a flight risk. United States versus, we ain't tripping on that. The Bail Reform Act mandates an individual evaluation guided by the factors articulated, the nature and circumstances of the offense charge included whether the offense is a crime of violence, the weight of the evidence against the defendant's character, physical and mental condition, family and community ties, past conduct, history relating to drug or alcohol abuse, criminal history, and the nature and seriousness of the danger to any person or to the community that would be posed by the defendant's release. United States versus Windsor, defendant should remain detained. All of the 3142G factors justify ordering defendant to remain detained pending trial. Nature and circumstances of the offenses. The nature and circumstances of the defendant's offenses unequivocally weigh in favor of detention. Defendant's offenses possessing multiple firearms on multiple occasions and over 125 rounds of ammunition, some of which he fired, are serious. That defendant fired at would-be robbers in a business parking lot and less than a year later was found with firearms after purportedly pointing them at his partner and child only confirmed the defendant should not be possessing firearms, not to mention his multiple prior felony convictions, each of which alone prohibit him from possessing them. His continued possession of another firearm and even more ammunition at his home with his child during his latest arrest only further corroborates the need for his detention. Moreover, defendant faces a statutory maximum of 15 years for each count. God damn. As currently charged due to defendant's extensive criminal history, likely rendering him in criminal history category 5, and with enhancements for the type and number of firearms and obstruction of justice, defendant faces a likely guidelines range of 92 to 115 months imprisonment based on total offense level of 24. Below are the guidelines and calculations based on the information currently known. Base level 23 firearms, 2 obstruction, 2. The severity of potential penalties involved arguments, defendant's risk of non-appearance. See United States versus Brenham. We're just going to go down. Risk of non-appearance, defendant facing fraud charges that expose him to a range of just 57 to 71 months imprisonment, as courts have recognized such a lengthy sentence provides a significant incentive to flee, and given defendant's criminal history category, he is facing a guideline sentence of nearly 10 years. So there y'all go. BRICC is facing 10 years in the feds, bruh. God, dog. Explaining that facing a much graver penalties possible under the present indictment, the defendants have an even greater incentive to consider flight and nothing that electronic monitoring cannot assure prevention of non-appearance. It is entirely reasonable to conclude that a risk of flight is more likely in circumstances where evidence indicates that defendant faces a substantial risk of being convicted of serious pending charges and receiving significant punishment. Defendant's previous evading and flight from law enforcement, as well as his repeated fugitive arrest, failures to appear, and parole violation confirms the same. In sum, the nature and circumstances of defendant's offenses demonstrate that he is a risk of both danger and non-appearance. Weight of the evidence. The evidence that defendant committed the charged offenses is overwhelming and cannot be ignored in assessing defendant's risk of danger and non-appearance in this case. Given the nature of the crime and the strength of the government's case, we find that the government has met its burden of showing by clear and convincing evidence that no conditional combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. Defendant was captured on audio recordings discussing firearms and other crimes for months while his home was searched. Those firearms were recovered. Defendant was previously captured on surveillance footage where shell cases were later recovered at defendant's location in the video, showing that he fired them. Evidence of defendant's continued possession of firearms is likewise powerful, including the night before his arrest on the podcast video and as found in his home during his arrest. All the evidence in this case conclusively shows defendant's continued possession of firearms and use of those prohibited firearms. The fact that Barone planned violent crimes, we're talking about United States versus Barone, planned violent crimes signals a degree of dangerousness unlikely to be deterred by bail release conditions according to the weight of the evidence, which this court shall consider under 18 U.S.C. 3142G, favors defendant's continued detention. History and characteristics of defendant. Defendant's history and characteristics also favor detention. Indeed, defendant's involvement in multiple violent offenses renders him particularly dangerous to the community. See United States versus Lomax. Affirming district court's reliance on defendant's robbery crimes were a danger to the community and affirming sentence. The evidence of his violence and threats of violence is all exacerbated by defendants' apparent continued access to firearms as detailed above. The recordings of defendant discussing uncharged conduct detailed above cast his already damning criminal history in an even more troubling light. Defendant's many convictions, along with his recent involvement in firearm offenses, further establish the danger he poses to the community if released. Additionally, defendant's headlong flight from law enforcement.
My bad, y'all. All right, I know a lot. Shit. I'm trying to get it together. Hold on. Hey, my voice starting to act crazy. And they done took my shit somewhere and I can't freaking find it. So now I'm cussing out Uber. I should have just went to the store myself. But that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to go to the store myself. All right, we gonna finish this out. But I can't even rock out because my voice starting to go back out. It's like 4 minutes left on this. We're gonna finish this out. I basically said what I needed to at the beginning. But yeah, I'm gonna have to lay it down, y'all. I don't know. I think my body's trying to tell me I'm doing too much. So all right, let's just finish this and then I'm gonna end the live.
On multiple occasions and countless supervision violations only reinforces his dangerousness and his incompatibility with pretrial release, as does his attempt to rid himself of the firearms when law enforcement searched his location. See United States versus Hernandez, Miranda, and then fight immediately after. Commission supports inference of consciousness of guilt. For all those reasons, defendant's history and characteristics supportive of his continued detention, nature, and seriousness of the danger posed by defendant's release. Defendant's release would pose a serious danger to his own family and the community at large. Law enforcement risks exposing its investigation into a deadly criminal enterprise by executing a search warrant at defendant's home in June 2023, all to protect defendant's partner and child from defendant hurting them. And multiple intercepted calls, defendant's partner had discussed defendant physically hurting her and pointing a gun at her and their child. Man, I ain't gonna lie, that's a punk ass shit right there, if it's true. Despite law enforcement seizing multiple guns and ammunition from his home, which unquestionably should have been a turning point for defendant had another unsecured gun and many more rounds of ammunition in reach of his child when he was arrested in March 2025. Defendant's risk of danger to his family cannot be ignored. Additionally, defendant is not only a risk of danger to the community at large, but has acted on his dangerousness time and again. Perhaps most concerning is defendant's continued criminal conduct after being caught with firearms, including illegally possessing another firearm, which weighs strongly in favor of continued detention. Defendant's proposed property bond is insufficient. While defendant's support from family, shown by his mother's willingness to serve as a surety and put up a property bond on his behalf, is admirable, there is no condition, a combination of conditions to warrant his release pending trial. Even a proposed secure property bond would not mitigate defendant's danger to the community. In light of the severity of his charged offenses and his seriousness, lengthy criminal history, see United States versus her, affirming district court's denial of proposed $600,000 secure bail package based on a risk defendant posed to the community. Congress finding the defendant who is a danger to the community remains dangerous, even if he has posted a substantial money bond. Even if defendant agreed to other conditions, those limitations, including electronic monitoring, would all suffer from the critical flaw in that they depend on defendant's good faith compliance in order to be effective. In particular, electronic monitoring does not prevent a defendant from committing crimes within the monitoring radius, including his home, where he has been caught with unsecured firearms and ammunition more than once, and there is no reasonable way to assure that a defendant would not make impermissible stops or detours on his way to places permitted under restrictions, reversing the release order finding that restrictions on communications with any person not approved by counsel, monitoring a phone through PIN register, 24-hour house arrest, and other conditions had an Achilles heel because virtually all of them hinge on the defendant's good faith compliance. Given defendant's repeated commission of crimes over the course of this investigation, as well as the litany of criminal convictions, warrants, violations, and continued criminal activity while on probation or parole, this court should be wary of defendant's ability to obey his proposed restrictions. Defendant has already admitted engaged in criminal activities on release. The court is not persuaded she would be able to avoid such behavior if released again. Abide by release conditions is the key factor for determining his fitness for bail. His serial and flagrant criminality counsels against bail in this case. Conclusion, the court should therefore order defendant's continued detention detention pending trial. Sorry,
and like I said throughout the video, that's my opinion. And if you don't like it, guess what?
I'm like, fuck.
Hold on, wait, before I go, y'all make sure y'all tap in with me to book your slot. A lot of y'all be hitting me up on Instagram and the email wanting to just talk about content, whether you're an up-and-coming content creator or somebody just got questions about cases or whatever. Book your consultation with me now. The information is on the screen. Hey, make sure you get your slot, because my slots be filling up fast. Mickey talks the truth. Okay. I got truth on my mind. I got truth on my mind. I got truth on my mind. Truth on my mind.
Hey, listen, you are now rocking with Mickey Truth. She live up to her name, not the fame.